Did you feel it? It's something in the air, something that's been building in the West Philippine Sea. It's a tension that fishermen, soldiers, even students and families across the Philippines are starting to notice. It's a shift, a big one, something the country hasn't felt in decades. Manila has just told its troops to be ready. Now, hold on, this isn't a declaration of war. Nobody wants that. But the ocean that has been a source of life and peace for generations? It's now at the heart of a global power struggle. For years, the West Philippine Sea has been like a quiet storm. You'd have patrol boats from different nations shadowing each other in an eerie silence. The waves hid invisible lines drawn on maps, and the air was thick with unspoken warnings. But quiet is no longer the word. Lately, things have escalated dramatically. We're seeing ships getting dangerously close, almost touching. The radio warnings are no longer polite suggestions. They're sharp, aggressive commands. Suddenly, the whole world is watching the Philippines, holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Imagine standing on a tightrope. On one side, you have to protect your waters, your territory. On the other, you have to protect your people and your nation's future. And all the while, you have to do it without accidentally starting a fire that could engulf the entire region. That's the impossible balancing act the Philippines is facing right now. This isn't just about some distant rocks or islands on a map. This is about sovereignty. It's about national pride. It's about history being written in real time. Then came the statement that sent shockwaves through the international community. Manila announced that the Philippines must be prepared for a conflict, even without direct U.S. military help. Let's be clear about what this means. It's not the Philippines turning its back on its allies. It's a declaration of responsibility. It's a powerful message to its own people and to the world. We cannot depend on anyone else forever. Our fate is in our own hands. Think about that. It's a small nation historically reliant on a superpower, now publicly stating that it's preparing to stand on its own 2 feet. It's a recognition that promises and treaties are one thing, but when push comes to shove, you have to be ready to defend yourself. This isn't about looking for a fight. It's about earning respect. It's about telling the world that Filipino sovereignty is not negotiable. For generations, there was this unspoken promise, a belief woven into the very fabric of the Philippines. We always thought, no matter what happens, a powerful ally would be there. A safety net ready to step in, ready to defend us in the West Philippine Sea. But that chapter is closing. A new one is being written. Not with fear, but with a powerful, and maybe a little bit scary, sense of self-reliance. The new belief? The Philippines must be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Even if help eventually comes, we have to be the first line of defense. And you can feel this shift everywhere. On coastal bases, on remote island outposts, our soldiers are training with an intensity we haven't seen in years. They're pushing themselves to the limit, not just because it's their job, but because they know that millions of families are looking to them. They're not just fighters anymore. They are the protectors of our peace, our security, our way of life. Out at sea, our new modern radar systems are constantly scanning the horizon. But the feeling isn't one of panic. It's vigilance. It's a quiet confidence that says, "We see you. We are watching." In classrooms, young Filipinos are learning about the West Philippine Sea, not as some abstract historical fact, but as a living, breathing responsibility that they will one day inherit. And if you listen closely, you can hear the real story in the quiet conversations of everyday people. In the markets, fishermen talk in hushed tones about the massive ships they've seen up close, far too close for comfort. At home, mothers pack food for their husbands and sons serving on naval bases. Some pretend not to be afraid, putting on a brave face. Others pray silently every night, a rosary clutched in their hands. But here's the most incredible part. Beneath all this tension, all this anxiety, something powerful is growing. It's not fear, it's unity. It's a sense of togetherness that's sweeping across our 7,000 islands like a powerful tide. It's a message being passed from person to person, a collective declaration that our identity is not up for negotiation. It's not for sale, and it cannot be taken away by pressure or intimidation. When the government called for readiness without relying solely on the US, it didn't divide the country. It did the opposite. It sparked conversations. In coffee shops, in office canteens, in university dorms, in living rooms. People are talking, debating, and most importantly, they are uniting. We're realizing that the future of the Philippines isn't going to be decided in Washington or Beijing. It's going to be decided right here, by us. And that is a powerful and a deeply hopeful thing to witness. Can the Philippines defend itself? It's a question that's getting louder and louder every single day. If things escalate in the West Philippine Sea, will our allies actually show up? How far should we, as a nation, go to protect what is rightfully ours? And that brings me to a crucial question for you. Right here, right now, do you think the Philippines should bank everything on its allies, or is it time we prepare to stand completely on our own? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just a political debate, it's about the future of over 100 million Filipinos. While politicians and experts argue back and forth in comfortable offices, something raw and real is happening out on the open water. Filipino ships, often smaller, often outmatched, are holding their ground. And they're doing it with a kind of calm, steely determination that is nothing short of breathtaking. Think about it. They're being harassed. They're being blocked. They're being blasted with water cannons. But they don't fire back. They don't provoke. They refuse to escalate the situation. They do one thing, and they do it with incredible bravery. They endure. They stay. They are a constant, unwavering presence, a powerful message to the entire world that the Philippines will not be erased from its own waters. Military analysts are pointing out something critical here. This isn't about looking for a fight. It's the exact opposite. This is about preventing a war. How? By showing that the Philippines is not weak, that we are not frightened, that we will not be made invisible in our own backyard. You see, in a world full of giants, sometimes the greatest strength you can show is the refusal to be pushed aside. Readiness isn't aggression. Readiness is survival. And make no mistake, the world is watching this unfold with bated breath. This isn't happening in a vacuum. Japan is increasing its training partnerships with our forces. Australia is expanding defense talks. Even our neighbors in Southeast Asia, who often stay quiet, are starting to voice their concerns more openly. The global media is now shining a spotlight on the question that the Philippines has been living with for years. What is going to happen in the West Philippine Sea? Every patrol, every resupply mission, every single day that our flag flies out there is a testament to the Filipino spirit. It's a quiet defiance that says, this is ours. And while we hope for peace and pray that cooler heads prevail, the reality is that on the waves of the West Philippine Sea, the Philippines is preparing, not just for a fight, but for its future. No one can predict what's going to happen in the West Philippine Sea. No crystal ball, no magic 8-ball. But one thing is absolutely crystal clear: the Philippines refuses to look away. Go to the coastal villages. You'll find old fishermen, their skin weathered by decades of sun and sea salt, telling their grandchildren stories. But these aren't stories of war. They're stories about the sea as a legacy. They say, this ocean feeds us. It belongs to you just as much as it belonged to us, and to our parents before us. It's a birthright. And that's the real reason you're seeing military drills intensify. It's why maritime schools are overflowing with new students, why ships are patrolling day and night. It's not because the Philippines is itching for a fight. It's the exact opposite. It's because the Philippines wants a peace so strong, so undeniable, that no one can ever take it away. It's easy for the rest of the world, sitting thousands of miles away, to talk about geopolitics, treaties, and lines on a map. But for Filipinos living right there on the coast, this isn't a political debate. This is personal. They know the names of the islands not from a breaking news headline, but from memories. From childhood trips with their families, from fishing journeys that put food on the table, from stories passed down through generations. That's why the stakes are so incredibly high. The West Philippine Sea isn't just territory. It's a part of their identity. And history has shown us time and again, when a nation feels its very identity is being threatened, it learns to stand taller. The Philippines may welcome allies, it may shake hands with friends, but it also understands a fundamental truth. Real strength, true strength, always starts at home. In the quiet moments, Away from the cameras and the loud pronouncements, families aren't whispering about victory. They're whispering their hopes for stability, for normalcy, for a future where their children don't have to live in fear. Teachers in classrooms are telling their students that patriotism isn't about hating another country. It's about love. A deep, profound love for your land, for your people, and for the freedom to simply live your life. And that's what they're preparing to defend. Not just water, but a way of life. On the open waters of the West Philippine Sea, Filipino military officers stand on the decks of their patrol ships, watching unfamiliar vessels draw near. But something new is happening. The Philippines is finding its voice. It's not shouting, it's not trembling. It is simply holding its ground. For too long, the narrative has been about waiting for help. But now, that's changing. The currents of diplomacy, pride, and history are all clashing in these waters. But the Philippines is no longer waiting for someone else to steer its ship. It's preparing, it's strengthening, it's defending, not because war is inevitable, but because peace, true peace, requires strength. History is watching as the Philippines writes a new chapter, one where responsibility replaces dependence and readiness replaces hesitation. This isn't just a story of conflict, it's a story of courage. So, what do you think? Should the Philippines focus on military strength alone, or should diplomacy and alliances be the priority? Let me know in the comments. And for more powerful Filipino stories like this, make sure to follow and share. The next chapter is still unwritten, and we'll follow it together.